Okay, picture this. You've got a major mortgage payment due, or maybe you're waiting on a hard-earned paycheck. But instead of clearing, the money just vanishes into the digital abyss. Why? All because of a single tiny digit entered incorrectly on a web form. It is a literal high-stakes nightmare. So it really makes you stop and ask, where is your money actually going?
Welcome to this explainer. I am super excited to completely demystify this absolutely critical banking topic for you today. We're going to break down the ultimate key to where your money lives, your bank routing number. We'll be using verified banking data and federal regulations to basically turn you into an expert on this subject, just to make sure your funds always end up exactly where they belong. Here's our quick roadmap for today. 1. Cracking the routing code. 2. Finding it on a check. 3. No check, no problem. And 4, avoiding costly payment mistakes. Let's dive right into Section 1, cracking the routing code. What exactly is this number? So why is the entire financial system so obsessed with this code? Well, to put it in plain English, a routing number is a 9-digit code that identifies a specific financial institution in the United States. Think of the modern banking system as this massive, complex superhighway. On that highway, the routing number is the exact destination. It's the precise physical or digital address for your specific bank. Without it, the financial system literally doesn't know where to send the car. And believe it or not, this system goes way back. It was actually created in 1910 by the American Bankers Association. By 1911, it was being used to process paper checks, which, solved this massive logistical headache of trying to figure out which bank a random piece of paper came from. Fast forward to today, and that exact same concept has evolved. It's now the absolute backbone of our modern electronic ACH and wire transfers. Now, why does this matter to you? Well, it's essential for pretty much every major financial move you're going to make. Want to set up direct deposit so you actually get your paycheck? You need it. Authorizing ACH transfers to pay your electric bill online? You need it. Sending a domestic wire transfer for, say, a down payment on a house? Or even just zapping money to a friend on apps like Venmo or Zelle? You guessed it, you're going to need that routing number. It's basically the ultimate gatekeeper of your cash. Moving on to Section 2, finding it on a check and decoding that MICR line. If you've ever glanced at the bottom of a check, that row of magnetic ink probably looks a bit like alien gibberish, right? But it's actually a highly structured code just waiting to be cracked. If we read it from left to right, the layout is incredibly specific. On the far left, you've got the 9-digit routing number, which identifies the bank. Right in the middle is your account number, usually 8 to 12 digits, and that identifies you. Finally, on the far right is a short 3 to 4-digit number, which simply identifies that specific piece of paper, the check itself. So anytime you're holding a check, your eyes should dart straight to the bottom left. The absolutely crucial thing here is making sure you don't accidentally mix up the routing number with the other digits. To help out with this, banks use these neat little things called transit symbols. When you're looking at a check, look for these special non-numeric characters acting like visual fences around the 9 digits on the left. These transit symbols are printed right there in the magnetic ink, and they serve as a strict barrier, totally separating the bank's routing number from your personal account number. I can't stress this enough, confusing these two numbers is the most common mistake people make. Just use this rule of thumb. The routing number is public information. It identifies the bank, and it is always exactly 9 digits. Your account number, on the other hand, is strictly private. It identifies your specific funds, and its length can vary. Just remember, everyone who banks at your local branch is using the exact same routing number, but your account number, that is uniquely yours. Section 3, no check, no problem. Let's look at digital search methods. So what if you're like a lot of folks today and just don't use paper checks anymore? If you need your routing number right this second and don't have a checkbook lying around, here are the absolute easiest steps to take. Step 1, just log directly into your bank's online portal or pop open their mobile app. Step 2, navigate over to your account details or account summary tab. Step 3, simply look for the 9-digit routing number listed right there on the screen. Because it's essentially public info, banks don't usually hide it behind those intense security walls like they do with your full account number. Now, if the app is acting up, don't sweat it. You've got plenty of backup options. You can easily check your monthly bank statements. The routing number is usually printed right up there in one of the corners. You can also just search your bank's public website or FAQ pages. Literally just type your bank's name and routing number into a search bar. And if all else fails, you can always call their customer service line or just walk right into a local branch. The info is completely readily available once you know what you're looking for. Let's wrap up with Section 4, avoiding costly payment mistakes through expert-level troubleshooting. Knowing the basics is fantastic, but understanding the nuances is what actually prevents your money from getting misrouted. If you take away literally one troubleshooting tip from this explainer today, let it be this. A U.S. bank routing number is always exactly 9 digits. If the number you're trying to type into a payroll form is 8 digits, or maybe 10 digits, it is not your routing number. Stop, back up, and double-check your sources right away. The actual math behind those 9 digits is kind of fascinating, honestly. They aren't just random numbers drawn out of a hat. The first 4 digits identify the Federal Reserve District and the specific processing center. The next 4 identify your exact financial institution. And that final 9th digit, that's what's called a checksum validation digit. It is a mathematically derived value that validates the entire sequence using a modulo 10 algorithm. So if your finger slips and you mistype a single number, the checksum fails, and the computer system instantly flags the routing number as invalid. It's basically a built-in typo detector.
This actually ties directly into geographical coordinates for your money. According to federal regulation, specifically 12 CFR Appendix A to Part 229, it states, the first 2 digits identify the bank's Federal Reserve District. For example, 01 identifies the First Federal Reserve District in Boston. So if you live out in New England, your routing number probably starts with a 01 or 02. If you're on the West Coast in the 12th District out of San Francisco, it starts with a 12. You are literally typing in a geographic GPS coordinate for your funds.
Okay, one massive heads up before we finish. ACH versus wire transfers. A lot of people just assume the routing number on their check works for absolutely everything. But for wire transfers, many of the larger banks actually use a completely separate wire routing number that is not printed on your checks. If you're wiring money for something huge like closing on a house, never ever just copy the number from your checkbook. Always explicitly ask your bank for their wire routing number to avoid a wildly stressful, costly delay.
Finally, I do need to mention that the information provided here is for general informational purposes only. Definitely consult with banking professionals for personalized advice regarding your specific accounts and transfers. But I want to leave you with a quick challenge. Go grab a check or open up your banking app right now. Look at those first 2 digits of your routing number. What Federal Reserve District does your money call home? Discovering how your own personal finances physically map out onto the national grid is actually incredibly empowering. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope you're walking away feeling like a true routing number expert.